From the CSI Baseball Complex on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents NCAA Division II baseball coverage live on the ECC network. In today's conference matchup, the College of Staten Island Dolphins take on the D'Youville University Saints. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, alongside my broadcast partner, Nick Bavona. And Nick, the Dolphins come into this series with the Saints in a position where they must win. The Dolphins need to be one game better than Mercy College the rest of the way. The Mavericks have 3 games left. The Dolphins have 4 left. The second of those 4 games for the Mavericks is in progress right now. A lot on the line for the Dolphins here this weekend.
Well, not only do the Dolphins have to get some wins today against the Saints, they're also going to have to be doing some scoreboard watching with Mercy and Lincoln. These are really big must-time wins for the CSI. As you said, Joe, they have to be in front of Mercy in the win-loss column in conference play. They do not have the tiebreaker with the Mavericks, so if they're able to get in front of them, the Dolphins will make the postseason this year, but they have to take care of business first today against the Saints.
So as I mentioned before, Mavericks have 3 games left. Mercy won yesterday, so currently the Mavericks are 1 game in front of the Dolphins in the win column. The Dolphins must finish 1 game in front of the Mavericks in the loss column. Mercy right now is taking on Lincoln University. That game is in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Still no score between the Mavericks and the Lions. We will have updates from that game for you throughout the day, but for now, this is the McDonald's pregame show. McDonald's, our scoreboard sponsor here at the College of Staten Island, bringing you our pregame show each and every game. And Nick, the Dolphins come into these games against D'Youville off a pair of tough losses against the Stack Spartans earlier this week. After 2 games on Friday where the Dolphins held the Spartans to 2 runs and 3 runs, the Stack Bats really erupted early in the week here at the CSI Baseball Complex, and the Dolphins surrendered 20 runs or more in back-to-back games.
It all came down to the fact that the Dolphins starters couldn't, those final 2 games, they couldn't get out of the 5th inning. Christian Rice wins 4 2/3 in that 3rd game of the series. Stephen Kalika did not even make it out of the 1st inning in that game 4. The Dolphins really need a good outing from Ryan Keough. He's coming off a 6-inning performance against Stack, so he really needs to keep the momentum going into this series. He's been really good for the Dolphins down the stretch of the season. They really need him now more than ever. Get them some momentum going into that doubleheader tomorrow and keep them in a playoff position.
With Mercy winning yesterday, today's game becomes that much more important for the Dolphins. They will know the results of Mercy's first 3 games against Lincoln, while the Dolphins will still have 3 games remaining on their schedule entering tomorrow's doubleheader. As for their history against D'Youville, the Dolphins have had a lot of success against the Saints. 8-2 all-time against D'Youville. However, the Saints took 2 of 3 games last season. The Dolphins can't afford that here this weekend.
They really need, overall, another strong performance from Keough like he did against Stack. He went 6 innings, as I mentioned earlier. If they can get a good amount of innings, especially considering the fact, Joe, that in those final 2 games against Stack, the Dolphins have to use a lot of their relievers out of the bullpen. They really need Keough more than ever to go at least 6, maybe 7 innings in this start to give the bullpen a chance as this game goes on. The Dolphins' bats have been hitting hot as of late, so that is something that CSI can look forward to. If they can keep that momentum going with their bats, they'll have a really good chance today.
And that's a good point you make about the longevity of the starting pitchers, Nick. That has been key all season long. When the Dolphins have needed more than 6 outs, maybe more than 9 outs in a game, they've really struggled to get those outs, and you said it. They've used a lot of relievers over the last couple of games. As we do have a scoring update from Dobbs Ferry, it is 2-0 Mavericks now in the bottom half of the 3rd inning, so that is not good news for the Dolphins entering today's game against D'Youville. We will continue to update you on that score throughout the afternoon. But as I was saying, Nick, the Dolphins do need longevity from their starting pitchers. Ryan Keough has done a great job of giving them that longevity all season long. They need it now more than ever. Of course, John Esposito also pitching incredibly well this year. We are sure to see him in this series. Likely will get a start tomorrow. Typically has started in Game 2 of doubleheaders to give the Dolphins the best chance at a complete game. We'll see if Mike Morrow uses that approach once again tomorrow. But you mentioned it as well, Nick. The Dolphin bats need to show up today, and they did in that series against Stack, especially in Game 2. The Dolphins had a 6-1 lead in Game 3 as well. They couldn't hold on. They need more of that run production today behind a strong effort from Keough if they're going to come away with a win.
And we saw that Game 4, the bats were looking good at one point in that game. After Stack had scored 6 runs in that first inning, CSI answered with a 4 spot in the bottom of the inning. Unfortunately for the Dolphins, they really did not have much run support the rest of the way, only 2 runs after that first inning. So the Dolphins just need to be consistent overall with their bats in this game in order to get a great opportunity. But as we mentioned, with Mercy already up 2-0 early on in their game against Lincoln, the Dolphins really need to get this win today to put some pressure on the Mavericks going into tomorrow. So it's must-win realistically for CSI.
It is getting very close to it as the Mavericks are in the midst of a rally right now against Lincoln. And if Mercy is able to win game 1 of 2 against Lincoln today, that puts the Dolphins in a position where they will have to win at least 3 of 4 games against D'Youville. It very well could come down to the Dolphins needing a sweep in this series, and even that might be enough if Mercy goes 4-0 against Lincoln. And we spoke about it before, Nick, but that game against Lincoln where the score reverted back to 3-2 after the Dolphins had taken the lead heading into the final half inning, that game ultimately could be the difference in whether or not the Dolphins make the playoffs. They hope it doesn't come down to that, but Lincoln, with just 4 wins against the conference this year, picked up a big one against CSI when they were trailing heading into the final half inning. The Dolphins will certainly regret that if they do end up missing the playoffs by a half game. We're still a long way from that, and the Mavericks are putting themselves in a good position. The Dolphins have to come out and take care of business here on their home field.
You said it, Joe. They have to take care of business. Cannot look too much into the score of the Mavericks right now. It's all about looking right now at what your opponent is, and that is the Saints. The Saints, yes, cannot make the playoffs this year, but they're a good team right now overall conference-wise. They're 8-10 in the conference, 18-22 on the season. It's not going to be an easy win for the Dolphins overall. They have to come out today and give their best effort, and they need an overall great performance all around from the team. They need strong pitcher from Keough. They need the bats to be very consistent as this game goes on. And overall, they just need to make sure there's not a lot of defensive errors in the field. We saw that in Game 4, unfortunately, for the Dolphins. A couple plays went against them. They need to make sure that those plays don't go against them today if they're going to have a chance.
And let's take a look at CSI's opponent today, the D'Youville University Saints. Saints come in hitting .274 as a team on the season. They are led in batting by Billy Morris and Ethan Hammond. Morris hitting at .380 on the season, Hammond hitting at .377. Starting rotation anchored by Chris Auclair, and in their bullpen, Blaze Colbert, Samuel Worth, and 2 of their notable pitchers. Saints do come in with an ERA of 6.25 on the season, and in the most recent CSI victory over the Saints last season, the Dolphins scored 18 runs. That certainly bodes well for CSI entering today's game.
And that's something you have to look forward to. If CSI could do that early on in this game, if they can get some runs early, that gives Ryan Keough a lot of confidence as this game will go on. And that's what you want to give your starting pitcher, especially when you're in a high-pressure situation like this where you're trying to make a postseason spot. If the Dolphins can get him some offensive production early on in this game, it could go a long way to Keough, maybe going a long way in this game, maybe give the Dolphins 7 innings, maybe go the full distance. Have to see how the game goes on. But CSI really needs early on in this game, get some runs, give Keough some opportunities to get some outs, and give him a chance to win this game.
And the wins for the Saints over CSI last year both came in close games, a couple of one-run victories, and they held the Dolphins to just 2 runs in the final game of the season series last year. The Dolphins likely will not be able to afford that today, but you never know. The way Ryan Keough has pitched, he has given the Dolphins a chance to win just about every time out, as we have yet another scoring update from Dobbs Ferry. Headed to the top half of the 4th inning, the Mavericks have extended their lead to 3-0, so Mercy taking care of business in their game against Lincoln. The Dolphins will hope to do the same when we come back from this short break. Starting lineups will be introduced, and the national anthem will be played after that. Nick rejoins me here in the commentary booth for the call of East Coast Conference Baseball. The College of Staten Island takes on D'Youville University in their final series of the 2023 regular season.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back from the CSI Baseball Complex. Joe Foreman joining you alongside Nick Bavona on the call of today's East Coast Conference matchup between the College of Staten Island Dolphins and the D'Youville University Saints. As we mentioned during the pregame, it will be Ryan Kehoe getting the start for the College of Staten Island. He comes in the midst of his best season of his career. Entering today's game, Kehoe has an ERA of 3.19 with a record of 5-2 across 11 appearances and 10 starts. He has 2 complete games. He has a couple of shutouts. He has a save. And in 62 innings pitched, he's allowed 61 hits, 26 runs, 22 of those earned. He's walked 20 and struck out 85. Opponents hitting .253 against him. And Nick, 85 strikeouts in 62 innings is certainly a recipe for success.
And we've seen it throughout the season for Kehoe. He has been a mainstay for this Dolphins rotation. We saw that game against Beloit where he had a complete game shutout. That was his best start of the season. His last game against Stack, he had 6 strong innings for the Dolphins. They unfortunately lost that game due to an untimely error. But Kehoe has just been great for CSI down the stretch of the season. They need him now more than ever, especially with the Mavericks up 3-0 in the bottom of the 4th inning currently. CSI really needs Kehoe overall in this game today if they're going to have a chance.
No question about it. And the lineup he will face very quickly is as follows. 1 through 9 for the Saints: Glinsky, Colbert, Hammond, Morris, Simpson, Oliver, Nowak, Zimian, and Crook. Getting the starts today for D'Youville, that is Dylan Crook, who is batting 9th. Evan Crook will come off the bench in today's game as Mike Morrow quickly is going to have a word with the home plate umpire. And the reason for that seems to be because his pitchers that were positioned behind home plate to chase foul balls were told to move.
Okay.
And they will instead stay on the sides at a 45-degree angle behind home plate. So they can't sit in those seats right behind home plate, as the first pitch of the game is in for a called strike 1. Jeremy Glinsky comes in, hitting at .292 on the season. And Kehoe misses outside. At times, we've seen Dolphin pitching struggle with the base on balls. Kehoe has not had issues with that so far this year, as that misses outside.
And we saw in those 2 games against Stack on the final 2 games of the series, that's what realistically hurt the Dolphins overall. A lot of walks in those games led to a lot of runs for the Spartans. Kehoe, thankfully for CSI, has not had that issue this season. They are hoping that that continues today with this game against the Saints.
Count now even on Glinsky at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Kehoe's pitch misses high. And, Nick, there's just been such a big difference in the games that the Dolphins have started on the mound with a couple of quick outs versus the games where they've started with a couple of early walks. Just a night and day difference in those games. So that's fouled away. Now, Nick, do you remember last season when we had the most enthusiastic chasing of foul balls that we've ever seen?
Yes. Was that also D'Youville? Was that them?
It couldn't have been because they didn't visit here last year.
Oh, okay.
So that's it sharply on the ground and through the left side for a base hit. And Jeremy Glinsky is on with a leadoff single.
Glinsky forcing the count at 3-2. Got a nice rip into left field past the shortstop and the third baseman for that leadoff single to get the Saints an early runner on.
Glinsky hit that ball hard on the ground. No chance for Cipoletti over at short. And the Saints have a leadoff base runner.
And now, Joe, because of that, a failed pickoff attempt from Kehoe is going to allow Glinsky to go to second. He might go all the way to third now.
And he will easily. As there's an early mistake by the Dolphins, and that's a 2-base error against CSI.
That is something you can't afford with a lot on the line right now in the season. The Dolphins really could not have afforded that early in this game. Now gives the Saints a runner on third base, nobody out.
Blaise Colbert is the batter. The Dolphins infield creeping in here, and that goes to show you just how much this game means to CSI, as it looks like Mike Morrow is waving his middle infielders back a bit. They were on the lip of the grass. And that misses for ball 2.
He's at least keeping the corners up with his defensive alignment. You have situations like this where a lot is on the line for playoff implications. The Dolphins are trying to avoid giving up as many runs as possible.
Comes the 2-0 pitch. And that catches the outside corner. Two and one the count on Colbert. And he takes outside for ball 3. 2 batters and 2 3-ball counts for Kehoe on the mound. Comes the 3-1. And that's lined straight back into the netting.
Well, if the Saints are going to want to win today and take one of these games to ruin the Dolphins' chances, they're doing a good job early on by forcing a lot of counts. Kehoe's already up in double digits with pitch count now and another 3-2.
That's hitting the air foul, and you brought up a point there that I wanted to touch on as well. Of course, the walks hurt you, and putting runners on base can result in plays like we just saw in that pickoff, but running up Kehoe's pitch count early in this game, not what the Dolphins hope to see, is he gets a big swing and a miss there by Colbert for strike 3, and that's the first out of the game.
Got him to chase on a high fastball right there. That's a huge out number 1 for the Dolphins. That runner looming still at third base.
Colbert went way up the ladder after that pitch. That was certainly ball 4. That will bring up Ethan Hammond. Hammond comes in hitting .377 on the season. He takes high. Hammond with 32 runs batted in has drawn 28 walks to lead the Saints. A patient hitter at the plate. That's taken outside.
That's what the Saints have been early on in this game. They've been very patient, waiting for Kehoe to make a potential mistake pitch that they could drive in for the first run of the game.
If Hammond was to walk, that would put the double play back in order. And I'm not sure Kehoe's pitching around him here, but he's fallen behind 3-0, and a walk might not be the worst thing in this spot.
We'll have to see what he does here in the 3-0, if it's an unintentional walk.
That catches the outside corner. Another dangerous hitter on deck in Billy Morris. He leads the Saints in batting, among the team leaders in slugging. Comes the 3-1. And that's ball 4. So Hammond draws his 29th walk of the season. And Billy Morris will be the batter with runners on the corners and 1 out.
Well, for CSI, they at least now have the double play in effect. Hammond will have to see maybe if he tries to steal and try to avoid that double play. He is one of the team leaders in stolen bases on the season.
I would not be surprised if he runs. Now, if he does, would Glinski make a break for the plate?
That would be one of the scenarios for CSI where you have to check the runner and make sure he doesn't go on a potential double steal.
And the 0-1 misses outside. Now, I don't think they want to take the bat out of Hammond's hands, and they wouldn't with a caught stealing, but you want to give him a chance with 1 out instead of 2. Put the ball in play and get you a run. So that's fouled back. So Kehoe gets ahead of a hitter for the first time in this game. He's ahead 1-2 on Billy Morris. Kehoe comes set. 1-2 pitch on its way, and that's hitting the air out to center. Shallow. And a diving catch is made by Cipoletti. What a play. Glinski was not tagging at third, So he does not have a chance to score, and a great play by Cipoletti saves a run.
Cipoletti just saved the Dolphins right there with that play. It was an interesting play there, Joe, because it was shallow, and I don't know if the runner would have been able to come home, but Cipoletti with that dive saves a run, and now there's 2 away.
I don't think there's any question Glinski scores if he tags up. Cipoletti had to make a full extension dive and catch towards center field. For him to get up, recover, and make a throw to the plate would have been really tough. But you said it, Nick. That was hit shallow. I'm a bit surprised Glinski didn't tag up. If that ball gets down, he scores easily. So I think you tag up there.
Especially where Martinez was in the outfield. He would not have been able to make the play. That was all Cipoletti or potentially Myers. So great job by Cipoletti there. We've seen him make a lot of those diving plays in the field this year. He's been very good defensively for the Dolphins.
John Simpson at the plate here is quickly ahead 3-0. That's a 4-pitch walk.
So now it loads the bases here with 2 away. Now you have the force of any base. We'll now have a mound visit, it looks like. Actually, Mike Morrow, he's not happy with the strike zone so far.
Looks like home plate was a detour on his way out to the mound to have a word with his team.
We've seen early on in this game, Keogh was trying to attack the outside corners to get strikes, but unfortunately for him, he hasn't gotten those strike calls, and that led to that 4-pitch walk. Now you have bases loaded. You can get the out at any plate, but if you're Mike Morrow, got to be a little bit careful when you're arguing with the umpire about the strike zone call.
Well, with the bases loaded and 2 outs, a walk obviously forced in a run here. Does it benefit you ahead of this at-bat to bring up the strike zone? Does it affect the umpire in either direction?
We'll have to see.
Big at-bat here. That's a knee-high strike.
CSI dugout loved it.
I mentioned it before. Kehoe not typically prone to walks. That's hit in the air. Foul ball.
And he's quickly ahead in the count now, 0-2. 1 strike away from getting out of a bases-loaded jam and keeping this game scoreless.
This is Craig Oliver at the plate looking to keep the inning alive. He's behind 0-2. Kehoe looking for one big pitch. And that misses high. And you could see, Nick, he put a little bit of extra on that one.
We're trying to force him to chase on that pitch, just a little bit too high out of the zone. Count now going to 1-2. Has another chance here to maybe make him chase on something here.
This will be pitch number 31 for Ryan Kehoe. And that breaking ball is taken out of the zone for ball 2.
And if you're CSI early on, with a 31 or now 32 pitch count, that's something that CSI is going to have to look into this game. And for Mike Morrow.
2-2 on its way from Kehoe. And that misses for ball 3. Full count on Craig Oliver. Merry-go-round will be in motion. And the payoff pitch is foul-tipped.
Just got a piece of that one. Keep the count full at 3-2.
We do have a scoring update from Dobbs Ferry. The Lions are on the board for the first time in their game against Mercy. The score 3-1, headed to the bottom of the 5th in that game. Good news for the Dolphins there. Kehoe looking to escape a bases-loaded jam. And he misses high for ball 4.
And that will be the first run of the game for the Saints right there on that walk. It is now a 1-0 lead for D'Youville.
And that one stings, Nick, because Kehoe got ahead 0-2 there and could not put Oliver away. Good at-bat for the Saints' second baseman to work out that walk. At the plate here is Hunter Nowak. And he takes a strike.
Well, you would have liked Kehoe to have gone a long way in this game with a very high pitch count here in the first inning. You're hoping you can at least get 5 innings out of him today.
Even if Kehoe had escaped this inning without allowing a run, I think that first inning pitch count is really disastrous for the Dolphins. There's no other way to put it. They need as much pitching conserved as they can save for the series. And if Kehoe doesn't get through 5 innings, that really puts them in a tough spot.
We'll have to see if he can get out of the inning here with a 1-2 pitch.
That's popped up. Foul territory and out of play into the seats.
Saints early on have been forcing a lot of pitches on Kehoe. Another foul there. Count still 1-2. Ryan could really use a strikeout here and keep the damage at least 1 run.
This next pitch will be number 38 for the Dolphins starter. Still looking for the third out here in the top of the first. Comes another 1-2. That's fouled back. Good at-bats from the Saints here in this first inning, to their credit. The last couple of hitters have fallen behind. Kehoe looking for a third strike, and that won't do it.
Got a strikeout earlier in the inning with a high fastball. Try to get another one there.
Kehoe comes set. The 2-2 on its way. That's popped up foul once again. Kehoe just looking for that swing and miss. It's been hard to come by here in this first inning. Did pick up a big strikeout earlier, and he misses outside with that pitch.
And grown from the home faithful there. They wanted that strike 3, and now once again 3-2. The merry-go-round will be in motion once again for the Saints.
Dolphins supporters letting the home plate umpire hear it. And the Dolphins have received a warning for arguing balls and strikes. Now, if someone needs to be helped out of the facility,
we had that conversation this past Tuesday.
You have to take over, and I have to help whoever it is that has been removed from the facility.
Hopefully we do not have an instance like that.
Hopefully not. I would like to stay on the call if I have a choice. Another full count. Merry-go-round in motion. And the 3-2 is swung on and missed for strike 3. Kehoe strikes out Nowak to end the top half of the first inning. Just 1 hit in the inning for D'Youville. They strand the bases loaded, and they have an early 1-0 lead.
Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back from the CSI Baseball Complex, where the Saints have an early 1-0 lead over the Dolphins. Dolphins did not like the strike zone in that first inning, but Ryan Kehoe was able to work around his displeasure, picks up a huge strikeout of Hunter Nowak to bring that first inning to a close, but a couple of walks bring home a run, and the Dolphins are playing from behind early.
Well, the good thing for the Dolphins is at least only 1 run was to come in, but the only discerning factor in this game now is Ryan Kehoe's pitch count as this game moves along. So he'll need some quick innings at the next couple of innings to give CSI at least 5, maybe 6, if the Dolphins are going to have him go a long way in the game.
Starting lineup for the Dolphins, 1 through 9. Kehoe, Ulaj, Martin, Vigliotti, Weigel, Santiago, Cipoletti, Martinez, Myers. And they will face Chris Auclair, who we highlighted during the pregame. Auclair, the clear-cut number one starter for D'Youville. Comes in having appeared in 10 games, all starts. He's pitched to a record of 5-4 with a 4.63 ERA. In 56 in the third innings, he's allowed 57 hits, 33 runs, 29 of those earned. He's walked 19 and struck out 73. Opposing batters hitting .258 against him.
And not a lot of times the Dolphins have seen a lefty on the mound, so we'll have to see how they approach this game as Kehoe grounds that one to short at third base.
And Kehoe is out to open up the bottom half of the first inning. And taking a look down the Dolphins lineup, they do not have one left-hander in their lineup. You have to wonder if that has anything to do with the left-handed starting pitcher. Saints getting some instruction from their dugout regarding how to defend Ulaj in the outfield. It looks like they've shifted him to right center field.
Does seem that way.
Shendy's certainly capable of hitting to all fields, but I think if you're going to favor one side of the outfield, the right center field side is the correct side. So that's fouled off, and Ulaj is behind 1-2.
We saw in the top of the inning where the Saints were taking a lot of pitches early on in this bottom of the first. The Dolphins are swinging.
Ulaj takes low. Shendy comes in hitting at .373 on the year. Slugging at .510. OPS coming in .982. And he looks at a called strike 3.
Did not like that inside fastball right there.
With nobody out, in the bottom half of the fifth inning, Mercy has taken a 4-1 lead over Lincoln. Once again, bottom 5 at Dobbs Ferry. Mavericks over the Lions 4-1. As the Dolphins have lost control of their own destiny in terms of playoff seeding. Getting a spot at all as Thomas Martin swings and misses for strike 1. We'll continue to update you with each run scored in that game. As that pitch is fouled away into the parking lot. One ball and 2 strikes the count on the Dolphins' designated hitter. And Martin takes up and away. Martin has his average up to .360 on the season now. Slugging at OPS of .948. Slugging at .493. Has a couple of home runs as well as he takes high for ball 3.
So one of those home runs in that game on Monday against Stack is shot into right field. Full count here for him.
Comes the 3-2. There's a swing and a miss for strike 3. So Auclair strikes out Martin, and the side is retired. A pair of strikeouts in the inning for the Saints left-hander, and D'Youville leads Staten Island 1-0 after 1.
Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. Athletics are important, but so is service, so is research, so is becoming a better person. And we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades. It was my sophomore indoor season. It was the first year with our new head coach. And he comes in and he's like, we could be a national contending team if you guys work hard. And I heard him and I was like, well, I want to be a national champion. I want to be an All-American. And I bought in because he bought into our team. And I qualified to go to indoor nationals. I decided I wanted it, so I went and grabbed it.
Top half of the second inning from the CSI Baseball Complex. Dolphins trail 1-0. And Alex Simeon tried to lay down a bunt there, but sends it foul.
A long first inning for Ryan Keogh, but was only able to give up 1 run. So CSI still has a chance, but they really need a quick inning from him here.
That's fouled back. Now, that first inning could have been far worse for the Dolphins. That's the good news. The bad news is Kehoe has now thrown 45 pitches. He really needs a quick inning here.
Quickly up in the count here, 0-2.
8-9-1 due up for D'Youville. Dolphins need Kehoe to attack, and he does, as he strikes out Simeon for a quick first out.
Well, you want to get quick outs, Joe? That's how you do it. 3 straight strikes, 1 quick out here at the top of the second.
That is exactly what CSI is looking for in that spot. And, of course, with the top of the order coming up behind Crook here, you'd love to face Glinski with the bases empty as well. As Crook lays down a bunt, and the Dolphins aren't going to have a chance on that one.
Nice, perfectly placed bunt there down the third base line by Crook. And he is on with the second hit of the day for the Saints.
Kehoe will not face Glinski with the bases empty. Runner on first, 1 out for D'Youville. And their catcher, Jeremy Glinski, comes to the plate. He's 1 for 1 in this game. Had a hard-hit ground ball single through the left side his first time up. Came around to score the game's first run.
Was able to reach third on the failed pickoff attempt as well.
That's fouled away. The run comes home regardless of whether or not that errant pickoff happens, Nick. But you have to think that with a runner on third versus a runner on first, that definitely had to change the way Kehoe approached the subsequent batters. And who knows, he could have been out of the inning much sooner.
Now he has to try to get out of this one. As
Runner
the runner is going.
Good throw. And the runner is out as Crook is cut down trying to steal second.
Nice throw right there from Michael Kehoe. And now 2 away here in the top of the second.
That's a big out. As now Kehoe is staring in the face of a very quick top half of the second inning. And did Glinski go? Yes, he did. As that is strike 3, and that is exactly what Ryan Kehoe and the Dolphins needed. A quick second inning for D'Youville. Kehoe faces the minimum. Dolphins come to bat, trailing 1-0.
My dad was a soccer coach and bought this little book bag. I could sit in the book bag like facing backwards and with like my legs out. So I'd be in his book bag when my dad coaches and the ball's going around. I'm like kicking at the ball in the back. And my dad was like, "We have a prodigy." So he put me into soccer and it just progressed from there. The catalyst was the opportunity to play soccer at a Division II school. On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do, be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
Bottom half of the second inning about to get underway from the College of Staten Island, and we have another scoring update from Dobbs Ferry. After Lincoln got on the board for the first time in the second game of the 4-game series between Mavericks and the Lions, Mercy strikes for 3 runs in the bottom half of the 5th inning. They now lead 6-1 over Lincoln University. So the Dolphins see the pressure mounting on them just a bit, but they knew coming into this weekend series that they might have to win all 4 games, so nothing changes for them in terms of their approach out there. But, of course, you know that the Dolphins would like to see the Mavericks drop a game as A.J. Vigliotti singles through the left side, and the Dolphins have a leadoff base runner.
Well, the Dolphins need some momentum right now. That's a good way to get it. A single here to not get the Dolphins a run around first.
That will bring Vincent Weigel to the plate. Weigel comes in hitting at .324. Strong season for him in his first year as a Dolphin. And Weigel shows bunt as he pulls it back. And we've seen that before too, Nick. Hitters in the middle of the Dolphins lineup asked to bunt as the Dolphins prioritizing getting this game tied above all else right now.
See if he shows it again here, and he does.
Oh, he's bunting. There's no question. And Auclair doing CSI a favor here. He's missed with 2 straight. Do you take a pitch here on 2-0 or try and bunt again?
I think you show it again, and he does.
And he offered at it. That pitch missed badly.
That would have been ball 3.
And it wasn't close. Here comes the 2-1. And Weigel lines one the other way, and that's down for a base hit. Vigliotti will go first to third, and the Dolphins have runners on the corners with nobody out.
Nice start to the inning for CSI. 2 straight hits. We saw in that game against Stack Joe, Weigel had a nice double into right field. Now has a single here. Dolphins have the corners on. No one out. And Angel Santiago with a huge chance.
Well, Nick, I think Auclair did the Dolphins a big favor there, missing with those first 2 pitches. Because it allowed the chance for Weigel to swing the bat on 2-1. And instead of advancing Vigliotti 1 base and trading it out, he goes first to third. A fly ball could now tie the game as Angel Santiago looks at a strike.
If Santiago is able to maybe get a single into right field, look at the gap between the first and the second baseman. See if he could drive it that way.
That's fouled away. And Santiago is quickly in a 2-strike hole. Dolphins, at the very least, need Santiago to put this ball in play. And that's chopped through the right side for another Dolphins hit. Stopping at second is Weigel. In to score the first Dolphins run is Vigliotti. And the Dolphins have gotten even. It's 1-1.
Santiago was able to do what I was saying, Joe. The gap between the first and second baseman was perfectly there for him. Able to drive it into right field for an RBI hit. The Dolphins are on the board. This game is tied at 1.
Nick Stradamus. We have Joe Stradamus and Nick Stradamus in the booth.
I don't know.
And then Der Stradamus, who was here on Monday.
He's getting ready for the faculty and staff game next week.
And that's lined down the right field line. Foul ball off the end of the bat. Cipoletti very nearly came up with an extra base hit down the line there. But that ball tails foul.
Early on, the Dolphins are driving the ball the opposite way.
Owen won the count on the Dolphins shortstop. He shows bunt, pops it up, and Glinski has it. Dolphins giving out away on the bunt there, but Cipoletti has shown the ability to bunt for a hit.
Nice shot by Glinski there to record that out on the diving catch. Now one away here.
I like the bunt in that spot. That's a bad break for the Dolphins. Tyler Martinez, the batter. Martinez getting the start in center field today as he swings and misses for strike 1.
We've seen Brian Burkhead start the last couple of games in center field, but with the lefty-lefty matchup, Martinez now getting the start today. He'll look to make the most of it.
Comes to the plate in a big spot here. I mentioned it before. Auclair has been good this year. Dolphins can't be sure of how many chances they'll get against him. And now Martinez finds himself behind 0-2.
Martinez trying to protect the plate here.
Comes the 0-2. There's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Martinez just looked overmatched there.
3 straight fastballs, and Martinez just was not able to catch up to any of them. Now 2 away. It'll be up to Jake Meyers to try to continue the inning for the Dolphins to try to potentially give them the lead.
Myers had a big hit in the first game against Stack last Friday, 1 week ago now. And that's sent through the right side for a big hit in this spot. Heading home is Weigel. Throw to the plate on its way, not in time. And Santiago will move up to third. It's an RBI single for Jake Meyers, and the Dolphins now lead it 2-1.
Another hit the opposite way for CSI. Great job by Myers. He brings home the go-ahead run. CSI now leads this one 2-1, and out of the top of the order coming up for the Dolphins.
Myers coming up with some big hits down the stretch for the Dolphins here late in the season. And CSI has taken a 1-run lead. Runners on the corners, 2 outs, back to the top of the order for the Dolphins. And Michael Kehoe swings and misses for strike 1.
Yeah, I like how aggressive the Dolphins have gotten in this inning, Joe. 4 hits now. They have the lead. Kehoe swinging on that first pitch, trying to bring home the 3rd run of the game.
Comes the 0-1. That's fouled back. Kehoe behind 0-2. Auclair looking for a big strikeout. He already has 3 in the game. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And Kehoe just got a piece.
Keeps the at-bat going. Still 0-2. He might have a chance to drive it the opposite way as well, with a little bit of a gap between the first and second baseman again.
They're holding Myers on over at first. That's fouled back, a bit too close for comfort to our camera outside. Now, they're holding Myers on over at first. I don't think Santiago is a candidate to take off for the plate in a stolen base attempt. You've already given up 2 hits through that right side. Do you hold Myers on here?
I don't think with an 0-2 count especially you hold him.
There he goes. That's hit to short. Throw will have to go to first. And that throw is in time for the final out of the inning. Dolphins strand 2 and score 2. 4 hits for CSI in the game as they take a 2-1 lead over Deauville heading to the 3rd inning.
For me, just kind of was the glue that kept my family together, I feel like. I don't know what it was that drew me in, but after I started playing for a while and started seeing some early success as a little kid, to see how much it meant to my parents to see me play the game and try to make a difference was really what fueled me to keep playing and stay competitive. Being a triple major is not necessarily easy, but at the same time it is what you make it. Being a tighter-knit university, I have a lot of classes with the same professors, so they know me pretty well. I think it's that personal relationship that really helped me to thrive as a student. I was able to come here and get my triple major, as well as play a super high level of baseball against some of the best players in the country. There's a lot of options here in Division II with a lot of great ball players and a lot of great people, and they make sure that they give you every opportunity to succeed on and off the field.
Top half of the third inning from the College of Staten Island, where the Dolphins have taken a 1-run lead over D'Youville University. Ryan Kehoe back to the mound will face 2, 3, and 4 in the Saints lineup as the first pitch of the inning is fouled back. Blaze Colbert at the plate. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Big second inning for Kehoe on the mound. Was able to really rein in his pitch count a bit. Finished the first 2 innings with 50. He'd love another quick inning here.
Was able to get a couple strikeouts. Had the caught stealing at second base from his brother Michael. Now looking for another quick inning here. Try to keep that pitch count down.
1 ball and 1 strike the count on Colbert. And he looks at a strike. Still 6-1 at Dobbs Ferry. They play on in the top of the 6th. That's chopped foul. Comes the 1-2. That's in the dirt.
Kehoe trying to get him to chase on that one. Count now goes to 2-2 here as he looks for another punch out.
Kehoe working with the lead for the first time today. And that's it hard on the ground to short. Played on a hop by Cipoletti. Throw across the diamond brought Vigliotti off the bag, but he applies the tag, and there's one away.
That's a heads-up play by Vigliotti right there to make the tag as he gets the first out of the inning. It was a tough hop for Cipoletti there. Overall, the Dolphins do get the first out of the inning.
We watched the Dolphins take some infield before this game, and the hops that infield was producing were very sharp. When that field is covered by the tarp for an extensive period of time, that definitely creates different kinds of bounces. The outfield looks as good as it has all season.
Well, we saw in that game against Stack, a lot of the plays where the ball would go into the outfield and the ball would just die right out there. So, good thing for the Dolphins there is it looks like, as you said, the outfield does look in good condition today. So, hopefully the same instance that we saw against Stack doesn't happen again in this game.
Comes 1-1. And that's ripped down the right field line, but foul. Now, we did see against Stack as well, with how much rain the field took over the weekend. We had an infielder on Stack, I think it was Andrew Jemison, slip on the infield, lost the play at shortstop. And that possibility after the weekend was a strong one for an infielder or an outfielder to go down, as that's blocked by Kehoe.
And you see the Dolphins right now defensively. They're playing towards that right field line. Big gap in between right center between the shortstop and the second baseman.
Comes the 2-2. And Hammond went around. So Hammond a strikeout victim. And they're now 2 away.
Hammond was trying to get to that one. Half-hearted swing, went around. And 2 quick outs here for Kehoe here in the third.
Pitch to Billy Morris. Misses down and away for ball 1. Morris 0 for 1. Flew out his first time up on that incredible diving catch by Nick Cipoletti. This is Vincent Weigel over at third, and his throw is in time. Quick 1-2-3 inning for Kehoe on the mound. Dolphins come to bat in the home third, leading 2-1.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experiences possible.
And we are back from the College of Staten Island. Dolphins leading 2-1. Quick inning on the mound for Ryan Kehoe. Dolphins right back to work at the plate as Shendi Ulaj takes high for ball 1.
Dolphins in that previous inning got 2 runs on 4 hits. Looking for more damage here, and that's a good start to it.
Ulaj lines one into left field. And once again, the Dolphins have a leadoff base runner.
Shendi drilling that one over the shortstop's head for that leadoff single.
And Nick, Lewis is having a grand old time on PA next door.
I know.
Found his calling.
We talked about it on Tuesday. Andrew better watch out.
The official announcement just coming down. All conference teams have been announced for East Coast Conference softball. Congratulations to Alyssa Acosta and Anissa Acosta. Alyssa, first team outfielder for the East Coast Conference. Anissa, second team at first base.
Costas were certainly instrumental for the Dolphins this season.
Now, the question is, if Anissa is rostered as a second baseman, which is the position she played most this year, does she have a chance for the first team? That's the question.
I was about to answer that, Joe, but Thomas Martin on that previous pitch was not happy with the strike call. So he had a couple of words for the home plate umpire. And did the Dolphins just get issued another warning here?
Well, if that's second warning, typically there's a penalty, but perhaps it's on an individual basis.
Wasn't sure. Yeah, that's most likely what happened. Martin did have a couple words for that instance.
That's fouled away.
Now, going back to your question about Anissa's position regarding if she was first or second listed on the roster and would that have determined, it's definitely a factor in determining if she made first or second team when it comes down to it. So, unfortunately, when circumstances like that happen, it leads to decisions being made like that, as Martin got hit by the pitch, and now he is on first base, and the Dolphins now at first and second.
The Saints contingent didn't like that one. Well, I'm taking a look at the stats in the ECC, and based on statistics, I don't believe it would have made a difference, but Anissa is listed on the roster as an infielder, not as either a first baseman or a second baseman, so I don't think it mattered. At the plate here, A.J. Vigliotti. Now, Nick, is there any chance that they would ask him to bunt? I don't think so,
I severely doubt it.
As do I. As that's chopped foul down the third base line.
When you have a guy hitting over 400 on the season, Joe, you can't really. I know in situations like this, yes, it's normal to bunt.
Is it though?
It's first and second, nobody out.
With your cleanup hitter?
No, I'm saying normal situations. With your cleanup hitter, it's not normal.
They bunted with the 5-hitter earlier.
They did. That's true.
Comes the 0-2. And that's hit hard into right center field, falling fast, and that's down for a hit. 1 run will score. Martin is held at third. Vigliotti stops at first. And A.J. has an RBI single to put the Dolphins ahead 3-1.
And that's why you can't bunt with your cleanup hitter. He gives you a great chance to bring home runs. That's a great shot into right center field for that RBI single. He's now 2 for 2 in the day. Dolphins now have a 3-1 lead on their 6th hit of the game.
Well, you said it earlier, Nick. The Dolphins' bats needed to show up today, and so far they have. As we do have another scoring update from Dobbs Ferry. Top 7, Mercy over Lincoln, 7-1.
That score now looming in on the Dolphins. Now they really need this game more than ever. With a 3-1 lead, it's looking good for them, but they need to keep this lead in order to have a chance tomorrow.
I think if you're the Dolphins right now, I'm sure they don't know the score. Don't expect them to know the score. But at some point when this game is over, they will see the score of Game 1, and Game 2 between Lincoln and Mercy will be in progress. If you're the Dolphins, what you have to hope for is that you take care of business here at home. You're going to have to win all 4 games in all likelihood. And you got to hope, if you're CSI, that Lincoln does to Mercy what they did to you, that they steal the 7-inning game.
We'll have to see, as Vigliotti will go into second with the stolen base. The infield was in for the Saints, so no throw attempt there. So now a 2 RBI chance here for Weigel with nobody out.
Big opportunity here for Weigel, especially with nobody out. I'm a bit surprised they brought the infield in, Nick. With runners on first and third.
It's definitely an interesting choice.
I get it now.
You got it now, yeah, but before, when he's on first, I don't know about that.
I think the chance for a double play is something you'd like to keep alive in that spot, even if you have to concede a run. If you're D'Youville in this game, I think your approach has to be make Kehoe throw as many pitches as possible.
And they did that in the first inning, but the last 2 innings for Kehoe has been able to get through them.
That's hit in the air out to shallow right. That could be trouble, and that's down for a hit. The throw goes home, but there is no play there. Martin comes in to score, and the Dolphins now lead 4-1.
A unusual hit there, Joe, as it was a half swing from Weigel. But we talked about it with the infield being in on the play. That hurt the Saints right there. They were not able to make the catch, and now a 4-1 lead for CSI.
You think they had a play if the infield was at normal depth?
Absolutely.
It's a good point. Didn't catch that, but trying to replay it in my head without being able to see the monitor as our viewers just got a second look. I think you're right. And if the infield is back, does Vigliotti steal second? Probably not.
No. The Dolphins will take it either way. And now, again, first and third, nobody out. This time, they're not going to give the stolen base opportunity here for Weigel that they did for Vigliotti.
Like I said, Nick, I was surprised they brought the infield in with first and third. Second and third, I get it. But that decision proves costly. Auclair looking for a big strikeout here. He's ahead of Santiago 0-2. And that is fouled just over the Saints dugout.
Watch your heads over there in that D'Youville dugout. We've seen Santiago, his previous at-bat, with that single into right field. Trying to do it again here. Count remaining 0-2.
I'll tell you, Nick, if I'm in that dugout, my head is not above the railing.
No.
And Santiago held up there.
Now a 1-2 count for Santiago here. Trying to get on base once again. Potentially give the Dolphins a 5-1 lead here.
One ball and 2 strikes, the count. And Santiago stays alive as he grounds that one foul. Dolphins have demonstrated good resilience all year. When playing from behind. They really haven't been phased much. We've said it all season. When they've been able to protect the lead, they've been able to win. That's chopped on the infield. Over Auclair to short. And the throw to first is in time to get Santiago. Vigliotti scores the 5th Dolphins run. And the Dolphins now lead it by 4.
Santiago did what he needed to do at the plate, able to bring that runner home from third. Now a 5-1 lead for CSI, and still a runner in scoring position for the Dolphins. Chance here for Nick Cipoletti.
They're on to the bottom of the 7th in Dobbs Ferry. Mercy over Lincoln, 7-1. Nick Cipoletti at the plate. Hits one well out to right. That ball did not carry. Cipoletti just got under it. Weigel heading for third, and he's in standing.
So Cipoletti is at least able to move the runner to third base. And now, Joe, we're going to see Brian Burkhead as he's going to pinch hit.
Early pinch hitting duty for Burkhead. And you have to wonder, and this could be completely off on my part, but Martinez swung through 3 straight fastballs in his first at bat. Do you think the dugout saw that and decided to give Burkhead a chance here?
That could have played a factor for sure.
Burkhead fouls that one away, and watch out. I have to say, I didn't see that coming.
The woman certainly did see it coming either.
No. Off the tree branch and down into the stands as Burkhead hits one hard to second. What a stop by Oliver. And he throws out Burkhead to retire the side. Great play by the Saints second baseman to save a run. However, Deauville now trails by 4. Our score, 5-1 Staten Island, heading to the 4th.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
John Simpson will lead it off for the Saints here in the top of the 4th inning, with the Dolphins now up 5-1 in this game, a 3 spot for CSI in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And a now 4-run lead for Ryan Kehoe as he misses with that one for ball 1. The 1-0 from Kehoe. Misses in the dirt, and he's down the count now, 2-0. Update between Mercy and Lincoln is now an 8-1 lead for the Mavericks in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the 3-0 pitch for Kehoe misses, so he walks him on 4 straight to lead off the inning there. Brings up Craig Oliver. Fouls that first pitch off to make it 0-1. Saints do have double action up in their bullpen. So let's see if that is it for Eau Claire today, as Keogh checks the runner at first base. Count will remain 0-1. And that one is in there for a strike to now make the count 0-2. Since that first inning, Keogh has started to get back into a groove. He's gotten a couple strikeouts and looking for another one right here, as that one is fouled off to keep the count 0-2. Be another 0-2 from Keogh here. And that one is swung on and missed for strike 3. A big-time out number 1 for Keogh after the leadoff walk. He gets a strikeout to record the first out of the inning.
Strikeout number 6 for the Dolphins starter. Thank you for taking over, Nick. Had some business to attend to outside of the booth. At the plate here is Hunter Nowak. He quickly gets ahead 1-0.
As a former in the viewers at home, Joe, it's now 8-1 Mercy in the bottom of the 7th inning.
As we said at the top of the broadcast, the Dolphins have to take care of business here at home. There is a good chance the Dolphins will need to win all 4, and that might not be enough. One game at a time. As Keogh finds the zone there. And the count is now 2-1.
You said it perfectly, Joe. It's one game at a time for the Dolphins. They just need to focus on the task at hand and hope that maybe Lincoln can take one of those games to give them any opportunity in making the postseason.
As I said before, I think the best hope for CSI in terms of Lincoln getting a game would be in the 7-inning game. We've seen the way the Dolphins approach that game, starting their ace, trying to get as many innings out of him as possible. Perhaps the Lions try and do the same. That was the game they took from CSI. 7-inning game 2 of a doubleheader. Count now full here on Nowak. Simpson, the runner over at first. He's going. That's fouled away. And I was wondering whether or not Simpson would go as, let's just say, the spectators that were interrupted before by a foul ball. Not quite sure where that one was going to land.
I think they're going to start moving from their seats, Joe. I think that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, I can't say I blame them.
I don't think I blame them either.
Another payoff pitch coming. Runner going. And that is lined into shallow right center field for a base hit. Simpson nearly fell down as he was heading for second. Fortunately for him, he regained his footing. He goes first to third. And the Saints now have runners on the corners with just one out.
Depending on how hard that ball was hit, if that was a little bit lower for Myers, that could have been disastrous right there for the Saints. Goes over his head, and now they have runners on the corners with one out. But Keogh is a double play ball away from getting out of the inning.
A double play there would have been terribly unlucky if you're Dieuville. But you said it. If that ball's a bit lower, Myers might have had a chance. Alex Simeon hits one well into the left field corner. Just foul.
By a couple of inches right there. Would have brought home 2 runs for the Saints right there.
Another scoring update from Dobbs Ferry. Mercy 9, Lincoln 1. As the Mavericks are running away with that game. 2 innings to go in that one. Game 2 will follow. We have a 9-inning game here as that gets away and rolls toward the top step of the Saints dugout. Simpson is in to score. Moving up to second is Nowak. And now it's a 5-2 game. And Dieuville still has a runner in scoring position.
Well, now it takes the double play ball away from the Dolphins and allows that run to score from third. Now a 5-2 game. Keogh looking to get out of this inning without giving up any further runs.
That's hit in the air on the infield. Easy play for Vigliotti, and there are 2 gone.
That's a good way to bounce back from that wild pitch. Did a nice pop-up to record the second out. Now 1 out away for keeping this a 5-2 game.
Dylan Crook will be the batter.
And with the top of the order on deck coming up for the Saints, this is a big out right here for Keogh if he's able to get it.
Crook is 1 for 1, bunted for a hit his last time. I'm actually a bit surprised that the Dolphins are playing him this far back.
Weigel the only one in on a potential bunt attempt. That's where it went the last time.
I would not be surprised if he bunts again. There is a hole on the right side as they're guarding the line. Over at first, or at least Vigliotti was fairly close to the line. They have Crook shifted to the left. Look where Myers is playing.
Big gap in right center.
He's moving back over now. So is it his responsibility right now to hold the runner on?
It looks that way, but Cipoletti is also playing a little bit close to the bag as well.
Myers is very close. He didn't move on that pitch.
Looks like Aiden Kilty is starting to get loosened up in the Dolphin bullpen. So
He's been the go-to man out of that bullpen.
To see how long Keogh can go in this game. 1 strike away here from getting out of the 4th.
Keelty pitched 4 times against the Spartans.
That 3-day rest, we'll have to see if that helped him if he comes into this game.
And the payoff pitch is high, ball 4. And that will bring Jeremy Glinsky to the plate as the tying run.
Now the top of the order coming up for the Saints. You said it, Joe. Now the tying run at the plate for D'Youville. 1 swing could tie this game. Glinsky does have 4 home runs on the season.
That's fouled away. Now, if you're the Dolphins, you have 5 runs on 7 hits. You have to like that. But once again, the base on balls has been a problem. D'Youville has already scored twice on just 3 hits. And earlier they stranded the bases loaded. Count even on Glinsky at 1-1 here.
Keogh has to avoid giving up a hit or a walk here, or else the go-ahead run would be at the plate for the Saints.
Comes the 1-1. That's a called strike.
Once again, 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. See if he tries to make him chase here on 1-2.
Pitch on its way. That's chopped foul. Glinsky just got a piece there.
A little bit out in front on that one, but you said it just got a little piece. Keeps the count at 1-2.
Another 1-2 coming from Kehoe. And Glinsky chases out of the zone for strike 3. You said it, Nick. Good breaking ball there from Kehoe. Glinsky goes fishing, and the side is retired. Saints strand 2 on base. Dolphins lead it 5-2, heading to the home 4th.
My path to a college degree would have been completely different had I not run Division II cross country for the University of Mount Olive. Having an athletic and academic scholarship was key for my success. Our coaches were really helpful with balancing out my academics and athletics. I decided to attend graduate school because I wanted to become an athletic director. Receiving the postgraduate scholarship through the NCAA provided me with the flexibility to choose the school that I wanted. So now I know that I can accomplish any goal that I set for myself.
Jake Myers will lead off for the Dolphins in the home fourth inning. Dolphins lead it 5-2 as the Saints got one back in the top half of the inning. And Myers takes a called strike.
Myers had a big RBI single his last time up.
That was the go-ahead hit for the Dolphins. At the time, it gave CSI a 2-1 lead. Dolphins have scored 3 since. Those came in the third, as Myers fouls that one away.
They'll have 9-1-2 in this inning as they try to get that run back from the top of the inning.
And the 1-2 misses up and away.
We spoke about during the break, Joe, with Keogh's pitch count at 92 pitches. He looks to be very close to being done in this game. Would like to give the Dolphins at least one more inning before going into the bullpen.
Knowing that you can only use him once this weekend, I think you have to try and push him for 2 innings. To get just 5 is going to put your bullpen in a tough spot. As Myers hit that ball well, but straight to the left fielder Hammond for out number 1.
Now, realistically, Joe, how many pitches would you let Keogh throw in that scenario if he's able to go 2?
Well, we've seen Dolphin starters push to about 120 before.
Right.
And that gives you 28 to spare. He has 92 through the first 4. So, we'll see. That's chopped to short. And Nick,
nope.
That is a terrible call. Oh, my goodness.
Nope.
I just...
how? Why do we always get that? It's always us. Here's another look at the wide shot from it.
There is no question he was safe, right?
Safe.
Okay.
He steps on the bag before the scoop at first base.
We've seen some bad calls, Nick, but that's up there near the top of the list as Ulaj pops out and the inning is over. Dolphins go down 1-2-3, though we didn't think they should have.
Nope.
And we head to the 5th. Staten Island over Duville 5-2.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experiences possible.
And we are back for the 5th inning with one more look at that play during the previous half inning.
We'll slow it up a little bit as well.
We try not to be too demonstrative in our reactions to calls, but Nick is going to slow it down for us as you get another look at it. And
you see the ground ball to short. It was had to be a quick throw to get Keogh at first, but you could see it. Keogh immediately steps on the bag before the first baseman scoops the ball. There is no question, Joe, that he was safe on that play.
Well, we have the benefit of replay. I don't think we need it in this spot, but it's good to know that our initial reaction was warranted. And I think more so than the Dolphins getting a base runner in the inning, Ryan Kehoe is right back out there. Does that help him or hurt him?
I'm not sure. I mean, either way, we've talked about it, that he needs to give the Dolphins, hopefully can give the Dolphins another 2 innings before they turn to the bullpen. If he can get to that magic pitch count of 120 and keep it like that without having going with, or I should say, he could go 2 innings, that's big for CSI as they try to hold on and win this game.
Well, in this inning, he will face 2, 3, and 4. So if he can get through this inning, that positions him to face the bottom of the order And
spectators are having a tough day today.
They're having a tough day, but my reaction is catch the ball. That's a pop-up.
They were in
You cover up when the ball is coming towards you. You're going to leave with a nice bruise. That's very catchable. On the line drives, it's reflex, but on that pop-up, you can catch that. As that is off the glove of Myers into right field. We'll see how Lewis scores that one.
That was a tough bounce for Myers at second, so I would not blame him if he gave him a hit right there.
That was toward the hole as well. Let's see it again. We have the benefit of replay. If Lewis is watching, he will have the benefit of replay.
I'd give that a hit.
I agree.
And they do give it a hit on the board.
We said it before. This infield producing some very tough hops.
Well, now if you're Kehoe, if you can get a double play ball, that would go a long way in trying to get 2 innings out of him.
And if you don't, this could be his last inning. He's walked 5, and that's really run up his pitch count.
And you have to know that that's what the Saints are looking into. They're trying to make him force a lot of pitches so that he doesn't throw another inning in this game.
And I'm not sure if it's just because we have the windows open, but it sounds like Kehoe is throwing hard.
We need to see how fast he's throwing, because despite being up there in the pitch count, you said it, he's throwing gas still.
Well, I was told John Esposito on Friday of last week was in the low 90s. Now, the Saints did have a radar gun behind home plate. That's only when Auclair has been out on the mound. 3-1 the count now. That's popped up a mile high on the infield. And Cipolleti makes the catch. That's a big first out for Kehoe as Hammond went after that 3-1 pitch and popped it up. And all of a sudden now, the door is open for an inning-ending double play.
Gotta know that Kehoe is looking for that. You see Cipolleti and Myers are playing close to the bag, trying to potentially turn it and get out of this inning.
If there are 2 defenders you can trust to turn you a double play, it's Myers and Cipolleti. The 0-1 misses in the dirt. Morris is 0 for 2. Ground out and a fly out. And that's blocked by Kehoe. Barely.
Able to hold the runner at first and keep that double play ball alive for the Dolphins. But now a 2-1 count here for Morris.
And that misses for ball 3. So back-to-back 3-1 counts.
It's dangerous territory, especially if he walks him. That would bring the tying run at the plate.
This is pitch number 105. And that's swung on and missed for strike 2.
And Joe, with the way the inning's going, unless something unforeseen happens, I don't really see Kehoe coming out for that second inning.
It's not looking promising right now. He needs an out right here. Runner going. That's fouled away.
Saw that earlier with a 3-2 count and a runner on first and 1 out. Going for the hit and run. They do it again there, and you got to believe they'll do it again here.
I like the play trailing by 3 more than I liked it trailing by 4, as Kehoe misses way upstairs for ball 4.
Now the tying run is at the plate for the Saints. Kehoe still has a chance to get a double play to get out of the inning, but he'll be facing John Simpson, who leads the team in home runs coming into today's game, Joe. So a dangerous at-bat here for the Saints.
Morris, who just drew the walk, has 8. Simpson with 9 home runs. And he took a home run cut right there.
He was swinging for the fences there.
Simpson behind 0-1. There's a swing and a miss for strike 2.
He's swinging for it, Joe. He's going for it all.
Well, the first pitch was a good one to Offrat. That one was way upstairs. Kehoe ahead 0-2.
See if it makes him chase here.
And he tried to get him to chase. He wouldn't go up the ladder again. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the 1 and 2. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Kehoe does get him to chase up high for a second time, and that's a big out, number 2.
That is huge for Kehoe there to get him to chase on that high fastball. 2 outs now, and he's an out away from keeping this a 5-2 game going into the bottom of the inning.
First pitch on its way, and Oliver overmatched by that fastball.
He might be in the triple digits for pitch count, Joe, but he is still getting that fastball right past these Saints hitters.
Aiden Keelty has his hands on his hips out in the bullpen. He's ready. He's a spectator right now as Oliver swings and misses again.
Quickly an 0-2 count here. Kehoe looking to get out of the inning, keep this a 5-2 game. Let's see if he can get another batter to chase on something.
Do you throw him another fastball here?
I think you have to.
And he does, but he misses way outside.
The pitch has worked for him the last couple of pitches, so you got to go to what's going good for you in this game. Let's see if he tries to fool him here maybe on this next pitch, with it being 1-2.
This will be pitch number 115 as Kehoe steps off, so in all likelihood, this is it. Which means the bullpen would have to get 12 outs. And Oliver did not go.
Thought at first the umpire at home called strike 3.
So did I. I thought he said he went, which I would not have agreed with. I don't think he swung.
A very delayed reaction. So now 2-2. The count here.
Here comes Kehoe's 2-2. And that is foul tipped into the glove of Kehoe for strike 3. Brian is fired up. He gets a chest bump from Michael. And that might be all for the Dolphins starter, as his team will take a 5-2 lead into the home half of the 5th.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
Bottom half of the 5th inning from the CSI Baseball Complex. Dolphins lead it 5-2. Thomas Martin swings and misses at the first pitch he sees for strike 1.
Going into the top of the 9th, Joe Mercy still has a 9-1 lead. So it will be up to the Lions in game 2 to give the Dolphins some chance and give them some life going into the rest of the series.
Count now 1-2 on Martin. In between innings, Brian Kehoe made his way down to the Dolphins bullpen, received some handshakes and high fives. That means his day is done. 5 innings pitched, 2 runs allowed on 4 hits for the Dolphins starter. Count 2-2 on Martin, and he swings and misses for strike 3.
Kehoe on the day threw 116 pitches. 65 of those, Joe, were for strikes.
Not enough.
Unfortunately, what it came down to is that first inning. The first inning really hurt him overall in this game. Couple walks issued, allowed a hit, and unfortunately, that is the difference of right now him staying in the game and him coming out. So now it's up to the Dolphin bullpen to now get them those final 12 outs of this game in order to give them a huge win going into tomorrow's doubleheader.
Well, to his credit, Dolphins felt early in the game the strike zone was a bit tight. He adjusted and was able to do a better job throwing strikes throughout the rest of the game. But you said it, Nick. That first inning really hurt him. How many pitches did he throw? Mid-40s?
I think around 38. I would say
mid-30s.
Mid-30s, something like that.
I think it was 34. So he went on to throw another 82 pitches. Still relatively high for 4 additional innings.
That's a credit to the Saints hitters. They have forced him in this game to throw a lot of pitches, a lot of they would take 3 pitches and then decide, okay, now is where I'm looking for. I'm trying to find a mistake pitch.
It's popped up by A.J. Vigliotti. And the catch is made over first by Simpson for out number 2. Now, Chris Auclair is at 76 pitches. There is action down in the Saints bullpen, but trailing by 3 runs, do you perhaps push your starter a bit more? Or do you make sure you hold the Dolphins at bay, keep this a 3-run game, and give all you've got to play spoiler in this one? Keep in mind as well, the Saints are ahead of the Dolphins in the ECC standings. However, they are in provisional year 3, so they are not eligible to qualify for the postseason. In order to pass Deauville, the Dolphins, in the loss column anyway, would have to have won all 4 games in this series to pass the Saints. Saints have 10 losses in conference play. The Dolphins have 13.
And with the way the series is going for Mercy and Lincoln, the Dolphins might have to win 4, but we said it might not be enough.
Well, we won't talk about it again, but that one game, that weather-shortened game, could prove to be huge. And I think you'd hate to see it come down to that. If you're the Dolphins, all you can ask for is a chance. If you win all 4, you'd like to get in, and in order for that to happen, Lincoln needs to take a game for Mercy. Right now, the Dolphins are not getting that help. As Weigel strikes out to end the inning, we are through 5 from the College of Staten Island. CSI leads Deauville 5-2.
NCAA Division II Community Engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student-athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student-athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student-athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Sixth inning from the CSI Baseball Complex. Dolphins lead 5-2. Saints look to chip into that lead against the Dolphins bullpen as Aiden Keelty will pitch for the 5th straight game. Appeared in all 4 games against Stack. First man out of the bullpen here today against Uville.
Keelty will be in charge of commanding this Dolphin bullpen after Ryan Keel went 5 innings in this game. It'll be up to them to hold on to this 5-2 lead and give the Dolphins some hope going into tomorrow.
They are 1 out away from a final in Dobbs Ferry. As the Lions are now down to their final strike, the score remains 9-1, Mercy over Lincoln. 1-2 misses down and away as Nowak was able to hold up. The numbers for Aiden Keelty on the season, 15 appearances, 14 of those coming in relief. He has 0-2 record with a 6.41 ERA and 26 2/3. He's allowed 34 hits, and that's going to be number 35 as that's over the head of Shendi Ulaj and left. It rolls to the base of the fence, and Hunter Nowak has a leadoff double.
Well, not a good start to the inning for CSI right there. A leadoff double, now a runner in scoring position. And you got to wonder, Joe, yes, there was 3 days off in between the games from Stack and today, but Keelty was used a lot in that series. I'm not sure what the wear and tear on his body is from that series, but I don't know if that's a huge factor right now in this scenario, now coming out of the bullpen and now having to try to prevent that runner from second from scoring.
I'm going to take a look in just a moment, see how many pitches he threw in those games. I think that's an important number to have. See if I can pull that up during this at-bat. And we might not have pitch count. We do not. We'd have to go to each box score to get that, unfortunately.
Early bunt attempt there for the Saints as they try to move the runner to third. Corners are in for the Dolphins.
The Saints are looking to bunt. That's a good one, and Weigel has no play.
That is as perfectly executed as a bunt as you could ask for right there. And now gives the Saints the tying run at the plate with no one out.
Leadoff double for Nowak. Bunt single for Simeon. And you said it, tying run at the plate. That's Dylan Crook.
Think about this, too. The top of the order on deck for the Saints. Keelty really could use an out right here.
That's it well to center, but Crook got under it a bit. Catch is made in center by Burkhead, and that throw was cut off.
Now a 5-3 game on the sacrifice fly. Good thing for the Dolphins, though, at least, is now they're a double play ball away from getting out of this inning. So let's see if Keelty is able to do that here.
One away. Jeremy Glinsky at the plate. He represents the tying run as that's taken down and away for ball 1. Glinsky is 1 for 3 in this game. He has struck out twice as Keelty will check on the runner at first. We said it during the pregame, Nick. We thought the Dolphins would need to probably get somewhere between 18 and 21 outs from Kehoe in this game. They get 15. Question number 1 now, how many innings can you expect out of Keelty? And 2, who's next in line? As Glinsky chased a pitch in the dirt there.
That is what is really a big question to ask now. After Keelty, who's the next man in line for CSI? You have to think Alex Martinez is up there. Maybe Fiore.
Double play ball to short. Throw to second for 1. It was a low throw. That may have cost the Dolphins the out. As a moment's hesitation by Myers on that low throw may have been the difference. I waited to call the runner safe because you just never know over there.
After what we saw earlier, I don't blame you at all. Yes, I stole that from Lewis, but you saw it on that play. It looked like Myers a little bit kind of bobbled the ball and was having trouble with it. But either way, the Dolphins do get that second out. They're now 1 out away.
We have a final in Dobbs Ferry. Mercy wins 9-1. The Dolphins need to hold on in this game, Nick. No question. Runner going. Good pitch to throw on. Kehoe's throw to second in time, and Glinski is out. For the second time today, Michael Kehoe throws out a base stealer, and that brings the top half of the 6th inning to a close. Deauville gets one back, but the Dolphins maintain a 2-run lead. Our score, 5-3.
Stop to make sure someone is okay. Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Notify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
And we are back from the College of Staten Island, where the Dolphins' lead has been trimmed to 2. Once again, Mercy has defeated Lincoln in the first game of that doubleheader. So the Dolphins need a win to keep pace in the conference standings. Mercy and Lincoln will play Game 3 coming up in approximately 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes, around 4 p.m. We'll continue to update you on the score of that game as long as we are on the air here from the CSI Baseball Complex.
Looks like that second game is scheduled for 4 o'clock. We'll have to see. But the Dolphins need to take care of business the rest of this game. Now a 5-3 lead for CSI. Could use some runs here in the bottom of the 6th.
That pitch misses for ball 1. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Angel Santiago. He got the start in right field today. He takes up and away. Santiago, one of 12 Dolphin seniors that will be recognized this weekend. We were initially told Saturday. I was then told today that they might push Senior Day back to Sunday. I will not be here on Sunday, so that's a bit of a problem. But I trust that all of you guys will have that taken care of for me.
We'll hold down the fort.
Well, I had a family gathering, and when Senior Day was originally scheduled for Sunday, I told my family I couldn't make it. They rescheduled to Saturday, and I RSVP'd. And now it's too late. If they move back to Sunday, I won't be able to make it, as that's hit to short. Throw to first in time, and Santiago is out. I will be here tomorrow. If I had to guess, you and Andrew will split the call on color commentary. However, if Andrew would prefer Sunday, perhaps you guys work something else out. That's up to you. But we will have 2 broadcasters tomorrow, that's for sure, along with one more on Sunday, as Nick Cipoletti swings and misses for strike 1. Cipolletti 0 for 2 at the plate in this game. Can they keep those foul balls away from our second camera, please?
They're making everything a little bit difficult here.
And the 0-2 misses outside. Now, have you ever seen that clip from the Mets commentary booth where Keith Hernandez taps the camera with the highlighter?
I don't think I have.
So, wait till after this pitch. There's a viral clip, or at least at the time it went viral, of Keith Hernandez tapping the in-booth camera with a highlighter. And it's so hard to tell if the lens actually cracked or if they threw a screen effect over it. It looks so unusual. As Cipolletti grounds out for out number 2, but it really is a funny clip.
I'll have to look into it after this game. But it doesn't surprise me. They're one of the better broadcast booths in Major League Baseball. You certainly see some moments from Gary, Keith, and Ron.
Well, if you can't pick it up in the way that I call baseball, I'll have to say it. Gary Cohen, for me, is a big inspiration behind the way I do my job. And that booth has provided me with countless hours of entertainment and free training over the years. So, big fan of the Mets commentary booth, even though I'm not a fan of the team.
I was going to say, you're a Philly fan.
I am a Phillies fan, but still a huge fan of Gary, Keith, and Ron. I have the bobbleheads in my office.
You do.
As that shot to the left side, handled it short, throw to first in time, and the Dolphins go down 1-2-3 in the 6th. We head to the 7th. Saints come to bat, trailing CSI 5-3.
NCAA Division II community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
And we're back from the CSI Baseball Complex. Aiden Keelty back to the mound for the Dolphins after a 14-pitch, 6th inning. His team leading by a score of 5-3. And we do have something that we wanted to share from CSI's road trip to Stack 1 week ago. Thought we'd make a good addition to the broadcast. So when we come back from our next break, we have a couple of images we'd like to share from an occurrence that happened last Friday. So be sure to stay tuned as we head to the next half inning.
Certainly looking forward to that.
Well, you got a spoiler, Nick.
I did get a spoiler.
Now, it's worth the wait, correct?
It's definitely worth the wait.
Great.
That foul ball was hit near the CSI bullpen, in which we see Alex Martinez now starting to get stretched and loosen up in the bullpen. So he would be the next man in line, it looks like, for the Dolphins.
Friday was a very interesting road trip. We'll leave it at that.
Interesting is a good choice of words for that.
Don't want to spoil anything.
No.
So that pitch misses high, and it's another full count for Dolphins pitching as Blaze Colbert has run it full.
And if he's able to get on, the tying run would be at the plate for the Saints.
And that's fouled out of play down the first base line. Once again, 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Saints. I think that's the third time today that we've seen that.
For a brief moment, Joe, I had to switch it to our wide shot. There was a B on the camera.
Well, that's been something that's happened all too often this year, as Colbert strikes out, and there's one away.
And he is still there, so I'm just going to keep it on the wide shot for just a little bit. He's in the right-hand corner.
I see. Well, that hornet's nest has been a staple of our press box since, at the very least, when I started back in 2016. It's hard to believe I'm at the beginning of year 8. I'm approaching the point where I've been at CSI for half my life.
I made that joke the last time you said that. I'm not going to say it again, but I made a joke the last time you brought that up.
It ages you quickly.
It does. It does.
Ethan Hammond at the plate. Count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. And that's taken down in the dirt. Hammond 0 for 2 at the plate. Has walked, struck out, and flied out. And he takes high for ball 3.
And once again, the Saints are up in the count and are 1 pitch away from having the tying run up at the plate.
And that misses outside for ball 4. 5-pitch walk drawn by Hammond. And Billy Morris will be the batter. Morris also 0 for 2. Saints without a hit from the 3 spot, the 4 spot, the 5 spot, and the 6 spot. However, all but one of those batters has reached. Check that. All 4 have reached. So every starter for the Saints in this game has gotten on base.
Either way, Morris is still a dangerous hitter at the plate. We mentioned it earlier. Second on the team in home runs. Certainly capable of tying this game in 1 swing.
1 big swing would do just that. And that's lashed down the left field line to the Dolphins bullpen, foul.
Nice effort from Alex Martinez, who's warming up in the bullpen to try to scoop that one up.
Keelty ahead 0-2 here. Needs to put Morris away. And that's hit to the opposite field, down the right field line. Foul. That was probably about 5 feet wide of the chalk in the right field corner. And that probably brings home a run if that's fair ball.
Certainly holding your breath on that one. Count still 0-2 for Keelty here.
And that misses badly for ball 1. One ball and 2 strikes, the count on the Saints shortstop. Hammond, the runner over at first. And that pitch was swung on and missed. That was a breaking ball down in the dirt. And Morris not happy with himself after that swing.
That's a good pitch from Keelty there to try to make him chase on a 1-2 count. Got it in the dirt, swung right there. Now an out away from getting out of the inning and giving the Dolphins a chance to get some insurance runs as we head into the later innings of this game.
From one power bat to another. As John Simpson will be at the plate here. Saints leader in home runs with 9, as Nick mentioned before. He's quickly behind 0-1. Keelty checks over toward first. And Simpson looks at strike 2.
Second straight at bat, Keelty up in the count, 0-2. Strike away from getting back-to-back punch-outs to end the inning.
Do you try and send Hammond here, assuming a waste pitch? And that was a breaking ball, and I think that was headed for the dirt.
Just got a piece on that one.
The way Michael Kehoe has thrown out base runners today, that's quite the deterrent behind the plate, but I thought they might send him there on 0-2.
I thought so too. I guess they don't want to risk another out on the base path. As that one was foul. But it's still a manageable game where it's only a 2-run deficit. can't really afford another out getting caught stealing as you had a couple of times already in this game.
Oh, and 2 the count. And Kilty loses the hat on that one. Wouldn't be a game here at the CSI Baseball Complex if someone didn't lose a hat.
Might be the first time we've seen the pitcher, though, lose the hat. Usually in the field.
Not the first time this year, if I'm not mistaken. I think Kilty lost it once before.
That one missed badly in the dirt. He's a bad bounce into the backstop, and now the runner moves into scoring position here with 2 away.
No need for a stolen base now. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count on Simpson. And Kilty almost lost the hat again as he misses high for ball 3.
Be interesting to see if Kilty works a walk here and brings up the go-ahead run. Does that lead to a pitching change for the Dolphins?
And that catches the outside corner for a called strike 3, but Kehoe throws the ball into right field. The Dolphins dugout is saying the ball was kicked by the runner heading to first. That was Simpson who struck out. The Dolphins dugout contending he kicked the ball. And if he did make contact.
He did, Joe.
He should be out.
I'll get a second look at that. He definitely did.
And he is out.
And he's out. You see it right there. He lightly tapped it with his foot. And the Dolphins, they catch a huge break right there to get out of this inning.
No question about it. As Kehoe airmailed that throw, trying to get it over the runner. But the Dolphins remain ahead by 2. That run does not count. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning. It's stretch time. Be sure to stay with us through this break as we have a special treat for you when we come back.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
Back here for the bottom of the 7th inning here at CSI, Jake Myers grounds out on the first pitch for the first out of the inning, bringing up Michael Kehoe. Joe currently working on getting those images displayed here. And he's shaking his head. I don't think we're going to be able to do it. That is certainly unfortunate if we're not able to get those images displayed here. As the 1-0 misses again, now 2-0 for Michael Kehoe. Two-0. Call for a strike, now 2-1. 2-1 inside. Keogh just misses getting hit there. Now the count going to 3-1. Well, Joe, if we're not able to get it, the viewers are going to have to tune into tomorrow's broadcast to see those images displayed. Count now is 3-2 for Michael here. As Keogh trying to get on with one away. Here's the 3-2. Chopped up the middle, and it's going to get through for a base hit. Took a couple bounces up the middle, but Keogh was able to reach on a one-out single and give the Dolphins an early base runner. And here comes Shendi Ulaj now. Shendy's had a couple of good swings in this game. He's got Keogh on first with one away. Dolphins trying to get some insurance runs as they check on Keogh at first. He's back in time. Ulaj drills that one foul. Chris Auclair still in the game for the Saints. Oh, 1 here. Call for a strike, and now it's quickly 0-2. Oh, 2. Misses low for ball 1. Have to imagine that Alex Martinez will be the next man in line for CSI to pitch the 8th inning. CSI might ask him to go 2 innings in this one. Keogh was in motion on the hit and run. That one goes foul to keep the count at 1-2. Another 1-2 from Auclair here. And Ulaj swings and misses for strike 3. Now 2 away in the inning on the punch out from Auclair. And it brings up now Thomas Martin. Martin twice in this game has gone down on strikeouts. Looking for better fortune here to keep the inning going for the Dolphins. As he swung on and missed on the first pitch and is down 0-1. Oh, 1. Chopped foul, and now it's 0-2. I think we got it, Joe. Those are some very funny images. 0-2 to Martin's in the dirt. Glinsky kept it in front of him. Count now going to 1-2. If Martin's able to get on, it'd be A.J. Vigliotti up next for CSI. With a potential RBI opportunity. Something into the gap, though, for Martin here. Could bring home Keogh. Keogh is going on the hit and run. Popped foul. And it's out of play off the top of the Deauville dugout. Count still 1-2. Second time in the inning we saw Keogh going on a hit and run chance. See if they do it again here. He does not go. Ball's in the dirt, and now it's 2-2. Two and two now the count for Martin here. Keogh getting a good lead at first. He's going to go. Ball's inside, and there's no one covering the bag at second base for the Saints. And Keogh was in there standing with a stolen base. So now a full count in 3-2. And now Martin with a single can bring home Kehoe from second to make it a 6-3 game. Full count now for Martin, 3-2. Kehoe on second, the pitch. It's outside for ball 4. And the Dolphins will now have first and second with 2 away. And A.J. Vigliotti coming up.
Big opportunity here for the Dolphins with 2 on and 2 out. And, Nick, I think it was worth my silence for a couple of minutes to get our viewers these images from last week. We will share following our next commercial break, unless we have a pitching change. Perfect time.
What a perfect opportunity to do that now.
Okay, so let's preface with a story. We were on our way last Friday for the Dolphins doubleheader against Stack. We were on our way out towards Spark Hill, New York, where Spartans play, maybe about an hour away from here on a good day with light traffic, maybe 45, 50 minutes. So we're on our way when our bus driver realizes first that the compartment storing our equipment is open. So we had to pull the bus over and close the compartment with the team's equipment in it. That could have ended very badly once we got on the highway. Fortunately, nothing came of that, and we were good. We continued on our way. We get about, I'd say, 20 minutes into the trip when he says he's having engine trouble. So now we have engine trouble after the compartment that stores our equipment was left open, and we're relegated to going only 40 miles per hour. So now we're going to arrive maybe an hour before first pitch. So we're going 40 all the way there, which is about 25 under the speed limit. Maybe the bus goes 50 or 60, but we're not going as fast as we could.
Right.
And the engine troubles aren't going away. Finally, the bus driver is able to resolve the engine problems, or so we thought, which is where the story gets a bit interesting. We play the games. The Dolphins split. We get back on the bus. This is probably 6 hours later or so. When we get back on the bus, our engine troubles come back, and we had to empty the bus and get onto a new bus. These are the images from the Dolphins departing the original bus for a new bus. This is the first image that you'll see on your screen now. So it's not a full screen image, unfortunately, but we were forced to switch buses. Coach Morrow and I had some fun with it. Perhaps I had some more fun with it than him. Fun might not be the right word to describe his reaction, but this was head coach Mike Morrow in the moment as the team was forced to board a new bus. So this was the scene last Friday, 1 week ago, following Game 2 of the Dolphins doubleheader against the Stack Spartans. Dolphins hope that it will be more of a celebratory pose for Coach Morrow today, as the action is set to resume right on time. So A.J. Vigliotti will be the batter. 2 on, 2 outs, bottom half of the 7th inning. Dolphins' chances of a playoff berth pretty much on the line in this game, Nick. If they don't win this game, they would have to win the next 3 and hope that Mercy loses each of their next 2 games. That's the way this series has gone between Lincoln and Mercy. Unlikely at this point, but Dolphins will hope to get some help in Game 2 coming up shortly.
Well, that 7-inning game could be a factor in that one, Joe. We talked about it a lot already in this game. If the Lions are able to sneak away with the win in that 7-inning game, give CSI a chance. Dolphins now facing a new pitcher for the Saints here in Connor Bowman. So Vigliotti will look to greet him here with a big RBI to increase this Dolphins lead.
0-2 the count on Vigliotti. And that's hit toward the right side and through for a base hit. Sliding in with the 6th Dolphins run is Kehoe, and it's an RBI single for A.J. Vigliotti. The Dolphins now lead at 6-3.
Vigliotti going opposite way, just like the rest of the Dolphins have most of this game. It's now their 9th hit of the game, and they now lead at 6-3.
Well, you can't help but love the Mercy Athletics website. Mav wants to know if he can help me with anything. On behalf of the Dolphins, I have a request.
It's a simple request.
Can you give Lincoln a game, please?
Just one.
As that pitch is taken inside by Vincent Weigel. So, as Nick mentioned, the new pitcher for Dieuville is Connor Bowman. Bowman greeted with an RBI hit by Vigliotti to give the Dolphins a 3-run lead again. 9 hits in the game for the Dolphins, 6 for D'Youville, and that's chopped toward the middle but not hit hard enough. As able to step on second for the out was Morris, and the side is retired. But a small 2-out rally yields the Dolphins an insurance run. They now lead 6-3 as we head to the 8th inning. And we are back from the CSI Baseball Complex. The Dolphins lead by 3. And Coach Mike Morrow loves it.
Will he love the ending of this game, though, is the question. That's still 6 outs to go for CSI. They have a 3-run lead. They need to hold on, especially with Mercy winning the first game of that doubleheader today. 6 outs away from putting some pressure on Mercy going into that second game and then going into tomorrow.
Well, if that's still Mike Morrow's stance at the end of the weekend, not good. We'll get a revised image when the weekend is over, hopefully. The Dolphins would love it to be a celebration of their first Division II postseason berth.
Maybe a Gatorade shower if they are able to clinch.
New pitcher for the Dolphins, Alex Martinez. And his first pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1. Craig Oliver at the plate. Oliver 0 for 2. Does have an RBI that came on a walk. Game 2 between the Mavericks and the Lions underway in Dobbs Ferry. Lincoln went down 1-2-3 in the top half of the first. And Oliver fouls that pitch off.
If anything happens in that game 2, we'll be sure to give you a score update.
We'll be with you through the end of this game and then some for a few short minutes. We felt so inclined. Share screen, call the action. We are going to record a new episode of the Dolphin Pod today after the game. So be sure to check that out tomorrow.
First time on the Dolphin Pod. Except for the glaring image of me. I was gonna bring it up before you did.
I was about to say, technically it is not your first appearance on the Dolphin Pod. In our defense, the setting sun caused that reflection as Martinez walks Oliver. He lost his footing on that delivery. And the Saints have a leadoff base runner.
So, chance here for the Saints with that leadoff walk. If they can get another runner on here, they'll have to tie and run out the plate.
For those who don't know, our last episode of the Dolphin Pod was recorded at Staten Island University Hospital Community Park following a weekend of Dolphins baseball at the home of the Ferry Hawks. That Dolphin Pod was recorded from up in the press box. If you check out the video of that episode over at our YouTube channel at CSI Sportsnet, you can see Nick slowly emerging.
I was the cameraman for that one, and unfortunately, I was in the reflection.
So you weren't in the reflection to start the episode.
Until the end.
Near the end, when it got dark outside, that created the environment where you could very clearly see you standing behind the camera reflected in the window. Still a good backdrop. Not as good with your reflection obstructing it, but
I want to get that New York City skyline view.
That was a good shot.
It was.
Until you so rudely interrupted.
Yikes.
Yikes is right. 1-1 the count. And that pitch misses for ball 2. Hunter Nowak at the plate. 2 for 3. Did strike out once. He's ahead here. 2 balls and 1 strike. And he looks at ball 3.
This is a dangerous spot now. 1 pitch away from walking back-to-back runners and bringing that tying run to the plate for the Deauville.
That sails up high for ball 4. And Nick, dangerous thing here is that pitch wasn't close. And when you see that, that's typically a red flag, especially in a situation where you need a strike.
Now, we see a conference between Semien and his third base coach. We saw him lay one down earlier, Joe. I would tend to believe with the situation you have, yes, you don't want to give up an out, but he laid down a good one earlier in this game. He might do it again here. Try to advance the runners put both of them into runners in scoring position.
Down 3 runs, Nick. If you're bunting for a hit, that's one thing, and I think Semien's certainly capable of that. I would show bunt and swing. Semien looks at a strike, and you see how hard Vigliotti charged in on that pitch. Weigel's playing almost on the grass. He's now on the grass. If you can shoot the ball the other way or pull it down the line, there's no way they're going to make a play on it. Runners are going, and that's even better if you're the Saints, because the Dolphins were not prepared for that.
Weigel had no chance of going back to third. Keel was trying to make the throw to third, but with the way Weigel was in the field, they had no chance there. Count now 1-1. And now 2 runners in scoring position for the Saints.
With the infield back, does he try and bunt for a hit? He does not.
He does not there.
We saw the Saints try and bunt for a hit twice out of the 8 and 9 spots earlier in the game. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count on Semien. Big pitch here for Martinez. And that's lined toward left center field, slicing away from Burkhead. That's down for a base hit. 2 runs will score. Semien heads to second, and he slides in safely with a 2 RBI double.
Semien drove that one the other way. 2-run double. He gets into scoring position now at second. It's a 1-run game here on that 2-run double from Semien.
Big hit for the Saints' designated hitter. Showing he's a danger, swinging the bat as well. He's now 2 for 4. And Dylan Crook will come to bat as the go-ahead run.
Watch for the bunt here, Joe.
Oh, there's no question looking to bunt here. Crook has already bunted for a hit. And if he bunts one down the third base line, Weigel's not in very far. Perhaps the Dolphins may be afraid of a stolen base attempt. And if Weigel creeps in too far, he won't be able to cover. Dolphins in a tough spot right here. Defensively, that is. Not even in regards to their lead now, down to a run. How do you play this if you're CSI? You're almost forced to concede a bunt.
Well, now the good thing is Martinez now has 2 strikes, so unless they feel dangerous, Joe, and going for the bunt on 2 strikes, I don't expect another attempt here.
He will not be bunting here. 0-2 the count. Pitch from Martinez is hit in the air. Foul. Crook in this game has just 1 official at bat. His only hit was a bunt single.
And you got the top of the order coming up for the Saints, too.
Martinez has to have this out. Here comes another 0-2. That's fouled back again.
See Frank Retzlaff warming up in the Dolphin bullpen. So, have to see how much longer Martinez goes. He needs a strikeout right here more than ever.
I just took a look down toward the bullpen. He skipped his last warm-up pitch into the right field corner. I should say left field corner. As that misses outside.
That's not a good sight.
See who's up there next to him?
I do.
John Esposito is in the Dolphins bullpen, but he's not throwing. I think he would come in for the save. If the Dolphins make it to the ninth, leading, they might bring in Esposito.
It's all hands on deck, Joe. When you're in a situation like this, you have to go some of your better guns in situations like this.
There's a baseball on the warning track right now, Nick. The umpire didn't see it, and Crooks swings and misses for strike 3.
Well, didn't play a factor into that one.
Retzlaff skipped another one of his warm-up pitches up against the left field wall. It rolled about 15 or 20 feet into the field of play, and no one caught it. But that's a huge strikeout for Martinez. Big first out here in the 8th inning. And Jeremy Glinsky will be the batter. Glinsky is 1 for 4. That's chopped toward the middle, hit slowly. Myers has it, throw to first in time, and there are 2 away.
Big sigh of relief for CSI there that Myers able to make that throw. Now Martinez an out away from keeping the Dolphins in the lead. It'll be up to the Saints here to try to keep the inning going. Let's see if Blaze Colbert could do something here with a runner on third and 2 away.
Well, Nick, I had a 3-word question for you, but that question's already been answered. Now, can you guess what that question was going to be? I had a 3-word question for you. 4-out save?
I was about to answer that, but the runner on third.
He's not throwing.
Yeah, no.
He's not throwing, so.
I could see it.
If he had been throwing, I think there's a good chance that perhaps they bring in John Esposito for a 4-out save. He was not throwing. And the count is now 2-1 on Colbert.
Because you have to think about it. He does not come into this game. He's definitely pitching one of the 2 games tomorrow.
Yes.
So do you risk that chance? I don't think you want to, but at the same time, your season's on the line. It really comes down to what happens in Game 2. Mercy's already up now 1-0 going into the top of the 2nd inning. So Dolphins are in dangerous territory, especially now with this being a 1-run game. And Martinez, he thought he had strike 3. He just missed it. You hear the home faithful, Joe. They are not happy with that one. They are not sure where that one missed.
The dugout didn't like it. The Fanatics didn't like it. The count is now full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And that misses inside for ball 4. And Dolphins dugout is not happy. Now, did something just fall down in the room at the end of the hall?
I don't know.
Well, Dolphins dugout got a little excited, and that same moment we heard a crash down the hall. That might have been the door closing.
I would think so.
I hope so.
Yeah, we definitely hope so. See there, the score update, 1-0 Mercy in the top of the 2nd inning.
At the plate here, Ethan Hammond. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of walks. Runners on the corners, 2 outs. Billy Morris on deck, so no relief in the on-deck circle. That catches the outside corner.
I'm laughing because one of the home faithful said that was the exact same pitch as the first one, and I don't tend to disagree. They look similar.
That's chopped foul. And the count is now 1-2, and home plate umpire has been hearing it from everyone today.
It's been a rough day at the plate for him. Or behind the plate, I should say.
Certainly the case in the opinion of the Dolphins. Comes the 1-2. That's fouled away toward the Duville dugout.
Martinez trying to get that final strike here. Keep the Dolphins up 1 and give them a chance to get some insurance runs going into the bottom of the 8th inning.
Well, there is good news for the Dolphins out of Dobbs Ferry if they can get out of this, as that is swung on and missed for strike 3. Hammond goes down swinging. Martinez strands 2 on base, and the Dolphins will take a 1-run lead into the home half of the 8th inning. And that good news departs quickly for the Dolphins as the Lions had second and third with just one out, trailing by a run in the second inning against Mercy. They failed to score, pop up to short, ground out to short. It remains 1-0 Mavericks in the bottom half of the second inning. Here at the CSI Baseball Complex, the Dolphins lead by 1, looking for some insurance as that's popped up. Shallow right field, and the diving catch is made in foul territory. What a grab there by Oliver, who's made a couple of nice plays in this game. He makes another here. And there's one away in the home eighth.
That's a great play by Oliver there. Unfortunately, could not get it on the wide shot with the camera view. So that's the first out of the inning either way for the Saints there. Now, Joe, my question to you is, when you said there was good news, do you count that as a commentator's jinx?
Perhaps. Perhaps it does count. Add it to the list for me. So that's fouled away into the parking lot. Now, got a really good view of where that foul ball landed. That was hit pretty hard. It only reached the grass behind the first row of cars. If you're in the third row, your car cannot be touched. And that's fouled off the mask of the home plate umpire.
Third row stays undefeated. It's never lost.
I've never seen a foul ball reach the third row, to my knowledge.
Let's keep it that way.
Yes, we are all parked in the third row.
Yeah. Let's keep it that way.
Cipolletti's forced to get out of the way of that pitch.
This is big, Joe. The Dolphins really could use an insurance run or two to go into the go into the top of the ninth inning with a comfortable lead.
That's chopped to third, and there are quickly 2 away. Now, no one is throwing in the Dolphins' bullpen. Does Martinez come out for the ninth? Does Retzlaff come in? Or does Esposito come in? Because Esposito's down there right now. Retzlaff is done throwing, and Martinez escaped trouble in the eighth. He may pitch the ninth.
Whoever it is, either way, it's going to be the biggest inning of the season for CSI. They really need to decide on who is going to pitch either way. As Burkhead just rips that one up the middle for a 2-out base knock.
That was a shot off the bat of Burkhead. That's double-digit hits now for the Dolphins. And Jake Myers will be the batter. Myers looking to keep this inning going. He's 1 for 3. Had a big RBI early in the game. After Myers, it's back to the top of the lineup. That's chopped foul.
I wouldn't be surprised at all in this at-bat, Joe, if we saw maybe a potential hit-and-run chance from CSI. Trying to bring home Burkhead from first, or at least put him into scoring position at third with a single.
That's hit hard to second. Oliver has it. Throw to first in time to get Myers, and the side is retired. Martinez immediately out of the Dolphins dugout. He is coming back in to pitch the ninth. Dolphins holding on to a 1-run lead. And we are back from the CSI Baseball Complex. Top half of the ninth inning. The Dolphins lead by 1, and their season is very much on the line in this game, as the Mavericks are off to a very strong start in Game 3 against Lincoln. 1 run already home for Mercy. Runners on first and second. Nobody out in the bottom half of the second, and a 3-ball count. So Mercy could very well be on the verge of loading the bases. The Dolphins need to close out this game. And Martinez quickly falls behind 2-0 here against Billy Morris.
He needs to find the strike zone now more than ever with being down 2-0. Dolphins have to set the tone of the inning getting the first out.
And that might do it. That's hit a mile high out to left field. Ulaj under it. And he makes the catch for the first out.
It's a good start after missing with the first 2. Martinez was able to get something in play. Shedney makes the catch for the first out. 2 outs away from CSI getting a huge win going into tomorrow.
That will bring up John Simpson. Simpson is 0 for 2. And we spoke about it quickly during the break, but getting the first out in this inning for Martinez, so big. And he's able to come through after falling behind 2-0. A bit surprised Morris was swinging. That's foul back.
I thought the same thing with a 2-0 count. Usually when you're in a situation like that, you take a strike and then wait to find something, but did not do it there. And now Martinez a strike away here.
Martinez threw that one as hard as he could and missed way upstairs.
He knows how big of a pressure situation this is. As now Mercy has a 2-0 lead in their game against Lincoln.
Still nobody out in the second inning and the bases are loaded. So the Mavericks are in a position where an extra base hit could break that game wide open. Mercy already with 4 hits. Dolphins could know their fate tomorrow if the Mavericks win. Samus is down in the dirt for ball 2. All the Dolphins can do is take care of business against the Saints here at home, but if Mercy is able to win in the second game of today's doubleheader, the Dolphins will have to go 4 for 4. Comes the 2-2, and that's swung on and missed for strike 3. Simpson goes down swinging, and the Saints are down to their final out.
What a response from Martinez after giving up 2 runs in the previous inning. 2 big outs here, and now an out away from giving CSI a monstrous win here.
It will be left to Craig Oliver. Oliver is 0 for 2, has drawn 2 walks, and he takes inside for ball 1. Comes the 1-0 pitch. And that's hit hard through the left side for a base hit. And the Saints still have life. 2-out base runner for D'Youville. And that will bring up Hunter Nowak.
That one was ripped on a line between Weigel and Cipoletti. Now, tying run at first, go-ahead run at the plate for the Saints. 2 away. We're in for a good finish here, Joe.
They're holding Oliver on at first, and Nowak takes ball 1. Cardiac Kids are back, Nick. Nickname given to the Dolphins by Dave Pizzuto. They're living up to it today. And that's a strike on the corner.
See Retzlaff once again starting to warm up in the Dolphin bullpen. Martinez wants to get this final out to give CSI the win.
That misses down and away. If Nowak is going to get on, you have to make him earn it with a hit. Cannot issue a walk here. That's chopped foul. And once again, D'Youville down to their final strike.
Big pitch here on 2-2. Can Martinez get that strike 3 to end this game?
Here comes the 2-2 pitch. And somehow, Nowak got a piece.
He got out in front on that one. You said it, Joe. Just got a piece on that.
He was looking for the express. He got the local on that one. Lunged across the plate and just got a piece.
I like the terminology on that one.
Comes the 2-2 again. And there's a big block by Kehoe as Martinez lost his footing for a second time.
And now, how about this situation? Full count, 3-2. The runner at first will be going.
How about this, Nick? The Lions held the Mavericks to just one run in the second inning. They escaped trouble. Runner going. That's it out to left. And Ulaj will have to play it on a bounce.
And now, you got the tying run in scoring position. You got the go-ahead run at first. Zimian now coming up. And we're going to have a mound visit.
The Dolphins are changing pitchers, Nick.
Okay, never mind.
Retzlaff is the only pitcher throwing. But with one out to get, John Esposito is still standing out in the bullpen. I thought Mike Morrow signaled for a pitching change. He might have just been signaling to the home plate umpire that the Dolphins were visiting the mound. So no pitching change. Retzlaff still throwing. Esposito still standing in the bullpen. Dolphins lead it by a run.
Martinez will stay in. So, gives up 2 straight hits after getting the first 2 outs.
Well, it looked like Mercy might break it open in their game against Lincoln. The Lions have held the Mavericks to just 2 runs in the first 2 innings. It looked like Mercy was poised for a big second. Dolphins looking to keep pace with Mercy as that pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1 by Zimian. Zimian 2 for 4. A base hit here likely ties the score. An extra base hit could give D'Youville the lead. Comes the 0-1. And that's on the outside corner for a called strike 2.
And he's once again 1 strike away from getting out of this. See if he makes some chase here on something on 0-2.
Well, there were a chance of come on Alex, but Alex is both the pitcher and the batter.
Definitely no confusion from the CSI faithful to what Alex they're rooting for.
Martinez on the mound. Zimian at the plate. And that pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. Kehoe applies the tag, and the ball game is over. The Dolphins hang on to beat the Saints by 1, keeping their playoff hopes alive. And this series will continue tomorrow with a doubleheader. Regardless of the outcome of today's game between the Mavericks and the Lions, the Dolphins will be alive tomorrow when we begin the doubleheader.
I was laughing at Lewis announcing the final score of the game, but this is a huge win for CSI. They had to sweat a little bit, Joe, in the final inning.
A little bit?
Just a little bit. As the Mavericks, or I should say not the Mavericks, the Saints had an opportunity to bring home the tying run. They had him in scoring position. Martinez gets a huge strikeout to end this game. CSI hangs on 6-5. You said it now. They go into tomorrow. They still have some life, but a win from Lincoln would help them go a long way into tomorrow's doubleheader. We'll see how the rest of that game goes on.
We will be following that game closely as the score is 2-0 Mercy in the top half of the third. Base is empty, 1 out for the Lions. You can follow that game over at mercyathletics.com, the Mavericks with full live stats. You can also watch that game live on the ECC network. We will be back on the air tomorrow. Doubleheader between the Dolphins and the Saints. The Dolphins will need to win both games if the Mavericks do win the second game of their doubleheader against Lincoln. You see that score in the top left-hand corner of your screen. 2-0 Mercy over Lincoln right now. The Dolphins need Lincoln to win at least one game against Mercy in that series to have a chance at the postseason. As I said before, regardless of the outcome of that game, the Dolphins will be alive entering tomorrow's doubleheader, and you can catch both of those games right here on CSI Sportsnet, a proud part of the ECC network. But until then, this has been Joe Foreman alongside my broadcast partner, Nick Bavona. Thank you to everyone who tuned in today. Be sure to catch us tomorrow right back here on the ECC Network. Today's final score, Staten Island 6, D'Youville 5. We will see everyone tomorrow at noon.